Capitalism cannot exist without slavery. No government ism can exist without slavery. People don't want to hear that because they want to get rid of slavery, but we're in which the government is the top. People go, oh, what we need is socialism, or what we need is some other ism, right? And perhaps, but if it's coming top down in a pyramid form still with the government at the head, you're going to have the same manifestations of problems where they're going to run out of people to control in their system in the order that they were created. So because they see themselves as capitalists, they can only expand by messing with us, messing with the mamas and the papas, messing with the babies. People don't like me because I'm not with dumbness that don't work. They cannot prove to me that creating a trust does a damn thing to keep you out of jail, to get you out of jail, to keep people from taking your shit. UCC ones, notice that shit don't work. And people don't like me when I say it does not work. It doesn't work, right? It don't work. It just doesn't work the way you want it to work. It doesn't work the way you need it to work. It will not keep you from going to jail. It will not get you out of jail. And it will not keep anybody from taking your shit, taking your children, taking your car, your house, your home, your boat, your bike. It will not. This is why people don't like me. Not because I'm lying, but because they're lying.
All right, so look, look, Bravo on here and his consort listening too, right? I'm just gonna give you the gist of it all for real. And I mean, Eric, I already know, like, as far as story wise, they got firsthand knowledge because it's their son.
I just wanna blame you right now for putting for real in my language. Every time I say it, I'm like, fuck, I've been hanging around outside. Bobby laughing.
Real for real.
I be making Bobby-isms like, I be around these people too much.
Ready. But Chi, right? I remember I told you before about my brother Chi Day, right? He on here, right? I want him in this consort to just, let me give you a highlight real quick. A highlight is son doing 135 years. He's only 17 and ain't killed nobody, ain't hurt nobody.
Damn.
Well, he better go and kill somebody because what's the point if you're gonna already be in there for 100 years? Might as well go on a spree.
Yeah, but hit him out.
Yeah. We're. Hey, long story short, not to go off too far. He has a bunch of like mental afflictions like ADHD. He's on the spectrum. He autism, right?
He's 88 mild schizophrenic, borderline autistic, bipolar with sensory disorder.
This is a man or a child?
This is my son.
He was 15. He's been in there for 2 years, right? So
we're talking about a young man.
Yes.
How old is he?
He basically 15.
He's 17 right now.
He's 17 and he's already been in jail for a year?
2 years.
And what was the alleged offense?
Grand theft. The grand theft auto charge come joyriding as a passenger in a stolen vehicle. When they get pulled over, he took off running. He is, matter if it's in a cage, lapdog, it don't matter. He almost got hit several times, trick or treat, and him running in the middle of the street. He's petrified of dogs. The police are already from there. So they stick the police dog on him. He's running. He busted through at first. The dog attacked him, bit him 3 times. They're charging the be at somebody's gate for running from the dog. It's still out to this day.
I guess I added my 2 cents. So, all right, so he was a guest. He was in the guest side because we already know passenger deals with ski lifts. Like, all right, so he a guest on the guest side. Like, who would know that he knew it was stolen property if somebody else is approaching him like, yo, come forward.
Yeah, but if you're talking about someone who has mental challenges,
you see what I'm saying?
If you're dealing with someone who has
Correct.
mental challenges, all of their charges and all that stuff has to be taken with a grain of salt because, of course, first and foremost, their charges are for federal, state, or municipal agents.
Said that
So
too.
that's the main thing, not the side thing. So my question to his family that's on here is, have you guys put in any paperwork into their case against him, or have you filed your own claim against the agents?
We haven't done anything because they keep telling us what we can and can't do, pretty much. So that's why I came on here. 'Cause I have
Okay.
no direction on which way to go.
So you've not made any defenses whatsoever. You've not challenged anything at all that they've said whatsoever.
Documentation from his mental disabilities, but they said they can use that because he said yes, he understands.
You have a
Obviously,
mentally
understand
challenged
shit.
person telling you yes, they understand, and you're gonna take that? That's ridiculous. Okay, so in my opinion and
I said it.
experience, what is required is you have to make a claim or several claims against them. What was the agency that arrested him? Was it the city, or was it the county, or was it the state that arrested him, the agency?
It was the city. It was the
Is it
city.
city policy officers? Is he in city
Wait till you
jail
hear
right
what
now?
corporation.
Is he in city jail?
Actually, he just got moved. He's been getting moved all around. He's been in juvenile city jail. Then they sent him to the juvenile. Then they sent him. They're from Tampa, Florida, in a mental
Okay, so what level jail
ward.
is he in? Is he in city jail? Is he in county jail?
He's in a mental ward right now.
Okay.
He been there for like a week. They haven't even told us that he was there to like that.
But prior to, he was just getting bounced around from city to
Right.
county.
They was bouncing him from city to
Okay.
county
Okay.
before they
So
was
I'm
moving
just trying
him
to figure,
between
I'm
city
just
and
trying to
county.
narrow down what agency needs to be sued. That's the only reason that I'm asking. So if it seems like it's the city and the county now involved. So I would highly suggest.
Yes, it was initially the city. Yes.
Okay, so I suggest doing a tort claim because the city and the county are subdivisions of the state. So I would do a tort claim against the state, read the State Tort Claim Act. None of them are very long. All of them say the same thing, almost verbatim. But it's a way to
The
sue the
Florida.
state
Yes,
for
the Florida
damages.
State Tort Claim Act.
Yes, a state level tort claim
No, yeah.
and a federal level 1983 claim, 42 USC 1983 claim under the Monell clause, Monel. Monell is when the city is involved. It's a case called the Monell case. You can actually pull that up, read that case. So, and then
Okay.
do a 42 USC 1983 claim against the city and the county.
Okay.
The first thing we always have to do is to go on the offense. And that's interesting that we're beginning today's call. By the way, intro. Today is the alleged 14th day of the second month of the year 2023, year of our Lord. And we're gathered here today for Bible study as usual. So thank you all for being here with us today. The reason that we are even doing the series that we have been, we might be wrapping it up either today or Thursday, is exactly what we're talking about today with this family that we have on right now. These agents are not supposed to be talking to us according to their own rules, according to their own codes, statutes, and all that stuff that they're enforcing. The problem that we're having is because everybody tells themselves that they love capitalism. I love capitalism. People think capitalism is when you have a skill and then you capitalize on that skill by marketing yourself to your community because you're a baker, you're a butcher, you're a candlestick maker. That's what people think capitalism is. But that is not capitalism in its definition, in its etymology, in its original essence. Capitalism is not when you just offer your skills to your neighbor in exchange for their skills or just for the fun of it. Share a little piece of heaven with everybody. That's not what capitalism is. Capitalism is to take advantage of another. It is to get ahead, the capias. That's what it is. It's for chattel. It is to make subordinate, make others subordinate, which is like why these cities and counties like these ordinances. But because of capitalism, they made themselves into corporations that require, thank you, T. Roy, for putting Monell versus Department of Social Services. That is the case that supports suing the cities. It's in the chat section. Government only exists to protect rights. They only exist to protect private rights. So when they're doing anything else, they're acting outside their scope and authority. They're acting outside the legislative intent. And it's very important for you to write that word down, legislative intent, because you're going to want to look for that legislative intent under every code that they're going to try to bring against you. And what you will see is a pattern. The legislative intent is to protect rights, private rights of the people. They're supposed to be protecting the private rights of the people against the other agent. So even though the police are all wearing the same uniform and the sheriff is all wearing the same uniform, they're supposed to be protecting private people from the other people in uniform. They're supposed to be holding each other accountable. But again, like I said, because of capitalism, they run out of people to control. That's what we'll say. Capitalism cannot exist without slavery. No government ism can exist without slavery. People don't want to hear that because they want to get rid of slavery, but they still want to claim and proclaim their love for capitalism or any ism, but we're in which the government is the top. Because people go, oh, what we need is socialism, or what we need is some other ism, right? And perhaps, but if it's coming top down in a pyramid form still with the government at the head, you're going to have the same manifestations of problems where they're going to run out of people to control in their system in the order that they were created. So because they see themselves as capitalists, they can only expand by messing with us, messing with the mamas and the papas, messing with the babies. The ism cannot grow because remember, they like to promise this infinite growth, even if it's by 0.5%, 1/4%. They're like, yes, we grew point 0.0005, but growth still. What is the only thing that grows forever? What do we call the thing that just grows and grows and grows, has no bounds? What do we call that?
Usually appetite.
What is it called, guys?
Hey, yo.
Hassan, gonna have to mute your mic. It's not just weeds. Who said that? It's not
Holding
weeds.
my mouth.
Cover your mouth. No. It happens to people all the time. It's happening to Keith right now. What is it called? When it just grows and grows, it just expands and expands and expands, and it engulfs exactly a cancer.
Yes, there you go.
Cancer. I'm so surprised you guys haven't gotten that. Only a cancer grows and grows and grows and grows and knows no bounds. Cancer.
That's what consumerism is. It's an encouragement of consumption as an economic.
Absolutely.
That's the trigger. Politics is the trigger to your.
So when they run out of their own people to control, they start being like, well, who else can I control? Oh, I can control her because she don't know who she is. I can control him because he don't know where he is. And I can control them because they don't know why they're here. Problem that we are all having is this cancer. Is a cancer.
True. It is
carcinoma.
also parasitic.
Cancer is
Work
absolutely
itself, as she
parasitic.
described earlier, is work is toil. Work is toil, is busyness, anxiety.
Wow.
Parasites Cancer is a parasite. Anything that engulfs its host is a parasite. It's not a parasite and then a cancer. It's the same. Cancer is parasitic.
You correct my sister. It is.
You can have a parasite without having cancer. But once you have cancer, you have a parasite because cancer is a parasite. It feeds off the host. It kills the host. Today, I just heard another friend-in-law story. I don't know if you guys remember Kayla Fitz. She was on our site as like Genesis 1268 or something like that on Lawful Living. I just heard a interview with her and another woman. I was tagged in the interview, and some of you may or may not know her story, but the state came for her. First, they took their 40-acre farm. Then they took their 5 babies. One was still breastfeeding. Another one was only a toddler. Then they put them in jail. After the first jail, she found Lawful Living. We started working with her. She was still, unfortunately, going to the hearings. And then she got in jail again, which is what she was talking about in this interview. Her and her husband were arrested, and they were arrested in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You hear that, McReal? They're in jail in Tulsa, Oklahoma. She just got out like 2 weeks ago herself. Her husband is still in jail in
Existed on the
Tulsa,
street.
Oklahoma. The reason why I keep saying that is because I cut my teeth on helping people get out of jail in Tulsa, Oklahoma. 19, when they took my world passport when I was going to Tulsa, Oklahoma to try to get my friends out of jail.
Same Kayla that has done all these trusts and things. and
Yes,
all these-
same
yeah,
Kayla that did all of the everything
He was on
everybody
the-
tells her to do. And that's why I'm starting off today with this conversation. There's people out there. I don't know if it's a lot. I don't know if it's a little bit because I don't care. But they don't like me. Why don't they like me? Because I'm not with the stupid shit. People don't like me because I'm not with dumbness that don't work. How do I know it doesn't work? Because it does not pass the sniff test in Malika's mind. That smells like bullshit. And even listening to her today, she still has not figured out. She still has not figured it out. Trust do not
Malika.
do anything for you. They don't. I don't care what nobody say. They cannot prove to me that creating a trust does a damn thing to keep you out of jail, to get you out of jail, to keep people from taking your shit. UCC ones, notice that shit don't work. And people don't like me when I say it does not work. And it's not, again, to say it doesn't work, right? It don't work. It just doesn't work the way you want it to work. It doesn't work the way you need it to work. So it does something. It just doesn't do what you need. It will not keep you from going to jail. It will not get you out of jail. And it will not keep anybody from taking your shit, taking your children, taking your car, your house, your home, your boat, your bike. It will not. This is why people don't like me. Not because I'm lying, but because they're lying. But they need you to believe. They need people to believe because they need people to get their services. They need people to get, well, I want to make a trust, Grill.
What you need to do is you need to get up in that.
I'm an SPC, and automatically things are going my way without doing
Yeah, you need to get
anything.
up in the university. Sign up for the university and get up in school here.
Yeah, you became
On my rights.
SPC.
I'm a secure party.
You turned
I'm a
into an
secure party
X-Man.
creditor.
Morphin time.
If you fill out the form, I can get you a break.
I have 9 trusts set up with 15 estates. Check with me.
They're still authenticating their birth certificate. And what trips me out, it's kind of like the people who get vaccines and then say, yes, I was injured. I lost the use of half my body, but I don't regret taking the jab. They just need to make it safer. They just need to make it safer.
I got the vaccine.
I don't regret taking a
I
jab.
got the vaccine, but I got the vaccine, so therefore I can't get AIDS.
Yeah, you gave yourself AIDS, therefore nobody could come and give it to you again. So it's just like that with the trust. People will say, I authenticated the birth certificate. I did the UCC ones. I wrote my children's name on it, right? I'm like, what the hell does that do? Nothing, whatever.
But
They did all of that.
I'm the first in line, first on time.
They
I
they
get
do
picked
all of
first.
that. And then they say it didn't work. They will say it did not
Hey,
work. But I don't regret doing
Malika,
all of
what's
that
that shit you always
bullshit. Say that again,
uh,
McReal.
when they're always saying first in line, first in time. You already said what's the quote you use? You can't take shit without just compensation.
Yeah,
It's the
No,
same.
well, the problem is being in line. We can't be in line
exactly.
like
The
that.
problem is being in line.
First, if you are already patented under 35, it wasn't
And the
yours.
queuing, it's called queuing. Queue.
Yes, standing in line is called queuing. Absolutely. That I learned that working at Wells
But
Fargo, working for the bank.
to the UCC bullshit when you can just be like, shit, you can't fuck with me without just compensation anyway.
Exactly. You want my time? Give me that dime. You want my time? Give me that dime. You're not getting my time without the dime. You're not it's not gonna, it says right here. No private property, aka my time is my private property, shall be taken for public use, which is coming to your nonsense, coming to your kangaroo event without just compensation. That's what eminent domain,
Schedule.
and I'm not doing no damn fee schedule. Try me, ho. I might be more expensive now than I was 5 minutes ago. Right, Bobby?
Commandeer your schedule, man.
We don't have a schedule.
Yeah, you know me.
We don't have a schedule.
You want SPC? Yeah, you know me. You want SPC? Yeah, you know me. We need to stop having so much fun.
We can switch the game up.
Yes. So none of those things matter. So I'm listening to her. She's talking about all the stupid crap she did. She even went as far as to say she hired a guy. Some of you guys may know their name, David Straight. David Lester Straight.
So she definitely ain't getting out.
She said on her interview, she paid him and his wife. They told her they were going to come through. They abandoned her. She still says,
Abandoned
but he
ship.
knows his stuff. He knows his stuff. She still said
Yeah,
that.
right.
No, his name is actually Straight as in straight, not like the Straits of Gibraltar.
Straight out of here.
It's straight up out of here. Straight out of luck.
Straight out of here.
Well, he needs to
Scammed you
go
out your
straight for
money.
real.
Wait, straight.
Malika, that's how we know we came out meeting up through
Wait,
him.
wait. He's straight out of incompetence.
Yes. And like I said, just like with the people, well,
Not
I don't
competence.
regret taking the jab. It just needs to be
Straight out of
safer.
incompetence.
She's like, David Straight and his wife Bonnie abandoned me, but they know their stuff. The only thing they know is how to get you to give money in their pocket. And guess who else
Hey,
knows how to
money.
do that? Me. I know how to do that. I'm the queen that know how to do that.
Hey, I remember.
I know how to do that better
we
than
first
David
got
Straight
into
and his wife. I just don't do that.
Remember we got in David Stratton roll with it with some of his shit, and we got to the point where we needed help, and he would never help us.
He never helped anybody.
He's too busy trying.
We never spent no money.
I got an emotional outburst.
Go ahead.
I want to outburst. You never call in the plumber to do the mason's work. Never call in the gardener to do the electrician's work.
Yeah, but these people are selling themselves as the
An iron worker,
gardener,
did you?
and then you say, I need you to fertilize this garden plot, and then they don't show up.
Well, you never call in an iron worker to do carpenter.
Bobby, 'cause I'm
Wasn't our
nervous.
savior a carpenter? Wasn't our savior a carpenter?
Watch your mouth.
Totally.
You can call McReal. You can call McReal, and he can do all that.
Okay,
Hey,
that multitask,
time.
Woo!
right?
Landscaper. He don't give a fuck. He'll bulldoze.
Guys, I'm not telling you not to get a trust, but like I said, I put all my trust in the creator of all. That's it. That's all I got. everybody that I've seen with written trust, the ones that go on paper, the ones that they like to stack this thick, and everybody shows off on Facebook, I got my trust. I got my trust. It's not going to keep you out of jail. It's not going to get you out of jail. And it's not going to stop nobody from taking your shit. You could tell them Malika said it.
Steadily getting penetrated.
Yet steadily getting penetrated. In and out, in and out, in and out.
Yes.
The other thing is a UCC1. Even if you write names on there, it does not actually put the people in the trust. UCC1 is not going to get you out of jail. It's not going to keep you out of jail. And it's not going to keep anybody from taking your shit. I don't care what you want to call it. The UCC is only a notice. It doesn't matter. It will not get you out of jail. It will not keep you out of jail. It will not prevent anybody from taking your shit. And the people in the chat or that's going to be watching this wherever it's posted, and you got your cognitive dissonance still trying to tell you that, oh, this stuff works for what I need it to work for. You still want to tell yourself that? You still want to tell yourself, I just didn't do the trust right. I just didn't do it right. You know, my SPC master teacher, they told me I didn't prostate myself the right way. I raped sideways instead of straight ways. I don't care what y'all nonsense y'all talking about in the chat. I am not a public agent. I am not filling out a UCC anything. I don't give a damn what a UCC 1 is for, a UCC 3 is for, a UCC 11 is for. I personally have not seen them keep people out of jail, get people out of jail, keep anybody from taking your shit. And if it's like the jab. My sister has a store. She actually had customers that used to come in there. She never had a sign on her door saying that you need to wear a mask or you shouldn't wear a mask. She just didn't put nothing up on her store. People did whatever the TV told them to do. They came in there with their mask, without the mask, jab, not, she don't care. She's not asking you nothing. But you know what? The brazen ass customers would ask her, the store owner, how come you're not wearing a mask? That's none of your damn business. A customer asked her, did you get the jab? That's like, to me, that's like saying, how do you like your sex? Unless you're trying to do it with me, it's none of your business.
Right. Left.
It's a HIPAA violation. That's right. This one customer told her, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? You didn't get the jab yet? What you waiting for? And you know what my sister said? I'm waiting for it to prevent me from getting sick, cure me if I got sick, or keep somebody from taking my shit.
You got a condom, sir. You got a condom, sir.
You know? Stop doing the only thing. Yeah, some people say I did, and that yesterday I did an interview with John Roca. Some of you know the hashtag John Roca. He's been kicking ass in Texas in court, period. People will be like, oh, what kind of court? Because we think court is different. We think debt court is different from land court, is different from eviction court, is different from foreclosure court, is different from bankruptcy court. And that's just because, you know, we're dumb. Because court is court is court is court. It's a public venue that's only concerned with what? Public agents doing public service in public places. It's a public venue. It's a public venue
Because it's in the government
concerning
house.
itself with public agents engaged in public service.
I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
Well,
I don't
stick your
think
tongue
it's
out.
Like, I don't think,
Stick your tongue out further if you don't like it.
Have your tongue out.
Ours is private, Charles. Ours is private, but
Yeah, mine is
The
private.
public-
ours
when
when we
shit's in a public building, but they're still private.
No, they're
Well,
Bobby calls it a
private sector.
private sector.
Right.
That's still public.
All right.
They publish everything that they do, even though they do the secret winks and handshakes in the background.
They are they are a service corporation. Service corporation. Maybe next week Hassan and Ara will come on and talk more about Servco. Servco. We got to get to Servco at some point.
Circle's a big one.
Servco. That's what all of these public service organizations are. Servco. That is what they are. A service corporation. They are not the government. People say, well, the government is now a business because they have Dun & Bradstreet. That's only half true. It's not government that has Dunn's number, because you can't have Dunn's number as government. But if you're a service corporation for the government, that's right. That's right, Elijah. The government is a service corporation for the people. And then they turned around and hired contractors. Right. Serco, somebody
Jack.
put the
Well, I don't know what Hassan's talking about. But Serco is runs the legal patent office for all
the Serco that we're talking about is literally short. It's a shortened name for service corporation.
That's
They're
right,
an
right there.
international or multinational, I don't know how you want to call it, corporation that takes control of different aspects of what the government is supposed to be doing. So they do training for schools, training for the teachers. They take over public transit systems and management, all that fancy stuff that we think is government are these corporations hired by the government.
Yeah, so PUS, organized prostitute union.
Yeah,
service.
because they do also take care of the unionization of the service corporation
They're all
agents.
yeah, they're all beta males.
Every single one of them. Every single one of them. So I want to show you guys a document. Just want to shout out Sunny real quick, guys. Going to be submitting.
Sonny!
She's going to be submitting for a nihil deceit judgment. Let me show you guys real quick what that is. Nihil deceit is Latin for he says nothing. A judgment for want of a plea. The name of a judgment which a judge may render against a defendant who failed to answer a plaintiff's declaration or complaint within the prescribed time limit. Do we love this or what?
Hashtag shut the fuck up.
Yes, and then stay shutting up. The defendant fails to say why the court should not issue the judgment against him. The failure to say constitutes an admission of the justice of the cause of action against the defendant. It does so more strongly than a mere default. See? Basically, a plaintiff files a complaint asking the court to do something, and the defendant must file an answer that disagrees. That's called joining issue. Okay? So a nihil deceit is when they say nothing within the prescribed time limit. That's where we're at with her case, against an apartment complex that acted under a code that is only for public housing. This is, again, the problem that the system has with private people. The problem they have is when we read, we will find and see with our own eyes exactly what I just summarized. It is a public venue that only has subject matter jurisdiction over public agents performing public service in public areas. And when I say public areas, I mean that includes every business registered under a license of the state claiming that they're open for public accommodation. If you have public accommodation in your business, meaning anybody could just walk in, including public agents, you are considered a public venue. You are considered a public venue. Now, this is taking advantage of the notes that we have already created. So we have been working a document that is basically called "They're Not Supposed to Be Talking to Regular People." And I know that sounds like a ridiculous long name, but this is what we have to internalize. This is really what we have to internalize. This is really, because if we don't internalize the threshold, the line, even if it's just in our mind, there's a line for public and private. There's a line. You'll hear people tell you public and private don't mix, but public and private do mix. They mix all the time. They still separate, right? They still separate. And you got to shake it back up so they can mix up. and then they always separate because it is oil and water.
This is called tying or towing the mark. You have to tow your mark with your hand and not your toe. You're not just dabbed at all times and not allow them to lord over it or cross over it.
You can't, but we don't know who we are, whose we are. The other thing I want to point out, our friend-in-law that I said still has not figured things out yet. You know, that's Bobby just reminding me of that, right? They're still saying things like, do you have any proof or evidence that that is my name? So that they have been made afraid to answer to their own calling. If someone says Malika, I'm going to turn my head. I'm going to look to see if I'm the Malika that they're referring to. I'm not going to say I'm not Malika. I'm not going to say I'm not Malika. You can call me Malika. I'm going to answer to my name. She keeps asking, do you have any proof that that's my name? Nobody has any proof that it's your name because there's other people named Malika. So I don't own the name, but I am called that. And I will answer. I will answer if you call my name, even if it's to just say, are you intending to speak to me? Are you intending to speak to me? And it's okay if you say, yes, I'm intending to speak to yourself. Because if you're wearing a uniform and you call my name, if you're wearing a uniform, you are at work proffering on behalf of a federal, state, or municipal corporation, you better keep my private name out your public mouth unless work too on proffering on behalf of the state. And I'm in uniform as well. I'm in scrubs. I'm wearing a white lab coat. I'm wearing the bus driver's uniform. I'm wearing a policy officer uniform. I'm the coroner. I'm the mayor. I work inside of one of the public buildings. Blab away, blah, 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 blah. Talk about all that you want. We're going to talk about paying debt. We're going to talk about piracies and felonies on the high sea. We're going to talk about rules that regulate the government. We're going to talk about all of that. But if you are in uniform and Malika is not in uniform, I'm wearing this shirt that says, has your sheriff even read the Constitution? If I'm wearing or any other shirt that's not in uniform, we're not talking about a damn thing. We're not talking about anything.
He broke in when he's talking to someone else about fajita. And fajita goes, it's ironically that this happened at this time. Faya is a strip, a belt, a wrapper, or a band of being fascious at eagle's claws. That is the band, the neck band of the magistrates of the high office, the lictor. That's what they are, and that's what they are doing. If you're not of like kind with that and being raptor of them birds, then they can't talk to you. You must know that.
Yes, we have to know when an agent is supposed to be talking to us, and this is the issue that most people are having when they say, "Well, Malika, how do I get rid of a ticket?" Well, what were you doing when the agent was talking to you? Unfortunately, some people are going to say, I was driving in the state of something, because we are not comprehension that driving is a taxable activity for those who are engaged in interstate and foreign commerce. Drive. I'm not a driver. I've actually never driven a day in my life. I never learned how to drive. I only learned how to use a car. And every time I'm using a car does not mean I am driving. If I'm not engaged in interstate and foreign commerce, I don't have a till in the front of my vehicle collecting taxes, aka fees of any kind, like when you get on the city bus. So the way I don't even call it traveling, because you can travel and it could be taxable activity in interstate commerce as well.
Yeah.
I'm in a farm vehicle. Remember that definition of farm vehicle where it says you're moving across the highway from one point to another? That's exactly what I'm doing. See, that's amazing. I'm in a farm vehicle.
Like the Amish.
Well, the Amish got a horse. I don't have no horse. Right? I have horsepower, but it's in an engine and not in a motor. I'm not on water. Because see, that's what they're trying to say. You see right here with high seas. That's why they try to say you're in a motor vehicle. They think you went like this. That's what they think you're doing. You're motorboating, right? That's what they're trying to say you're doing.
Turned on over
When
here.
they say
Getting
you're
turned on
in a
over here.
motor why would you be in a motor vehicle when your car has an engine? Why people don't think about that? My car has an engine.
You
Hold on.
bitch.
When they say that the engine has a certain amount of horse,
Oh, the definition of motor
Power
vehicle
vehicle.
does not go over 25 or 35 miles an hour.
49 cc. 49 cc is the limit.
Right.
maritime law, would it be sea horsepower then? No.
It is.
C horsepower.
Centimeter. Metering.
This is another reason I don't like Hassan, because I just got the urge to search how fast seahorses can go.
I'm just saying.
I just got the urge to say
They do,
per hour seahorse.
they do that neat. They do the neck back and forth. Seahorses.
I'm not the Amish, but I might be the arm-ish.
Army.
I might be. That's right.
Army.
Taxi. 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 Absolutely, my people. So I hope this series has been beneficial to all. I hope it has been beneficial to all, because this is the basis. Just so you guys know, our friend Cindy pulls up a screenshot of this code's mention in the state statutes. She put up a screenshot on Facebook. As a matter of fact, I might even show it to y'all, because it's a screenshot for the policy of their hiring. They're hiring. See my boy John Roca. He sends me all. Y'all gotta watch that video that we did with John Roca yesterday, because at the end of the video, I asked, did he authenticate his birth certificate? He said yes. Did he do bonds? Did you do the what is it? W4 1099 sandwich? He said yes. He said yes. Everybody who was on there yesterday,
And he said none of that
get
shit
your own
worked.
ears. He said he got 45 million doll hairs. You guys hear me? He did the 1099, and some of y'all gonna get excited like, oh yeah, I gotta do that 1099 sandwich thing. But guess what? They charged him with 50 years in prison because he got 4 $10 million checks and then one $5 million check from the IRS. He did the sandwich. It worked. It worked. And then the feds came for his ass. And guess what he had to do? Use the same stuff that we talk about on this call every Tuesday and Thursday, or else he would have already been in jail. The first thing he asked for when the IRS contacted him to prosecute him was their delegation of authority. He asked for the, and the guy said, oh yeah, I have delegation of authority from the Treasury. So you know what he said? Well, I'm sitting at my computer, send it now.
Email it to me.
Email it, right. Guess what the agent from the IRS did? Well, you was on the call, so you know. The IRS agent hung up the phone from the Treasury, bitch, don't ask me.
There's a reason why the delegation of authority.
Dead on the
That's right, baby. That's right. You want to talk to the coroner?
We were having so much fun on that call.
We know he's dead.
We were having so much fun on that call, my people. Okay, where's Cindy's post? Where is it? Here it goes, right here. Let me move this over. Because people, I'm telling you, people don't like me. Why? Because I know that most people who are going to try that W4 1099 sandwich, you don't know enough law. You don't know enough law to fuck around and find out over there. John knows. John knows how to disqualify judges, disqualify attorneys, set his hearings to disqualify the attorneys. He knows to do judicial complaints when the judge does not behave. He even did a judicial complaint on the clerk that did not want to set a hearing for the disqualification of the attorney. He got the clerk to say, well, we just don't want to do it. We just don't want to set a hearing for you so you can go kick the attorney's ass. So he did a judicial complaint on her.
We don't want to play no more.
Yeah, we don't want to. It ain't no fun when the monkey got the
That's
gun.
what her ass said.
Ain't
and
no
said,
fun when the
hey,
monkey
you
got
know,
the
you
gun.
on the
Got money if you got it. He's supposed to take that money out.
It don't matter. They cancel
non
it.
money, but
It's
they
not about.
didn't
It's
give
not
him the
about
rest of
if
that
you're
shit.
supposed to take it
Cancel it.
out or not. What I keep trying to tell people is it's not that no one is supposed to fill out those forms. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying those forms are illegitimate. I'm saying it's not for private people. He did exactly what is supposed to be done if he were an agent. If he were an agent, perfectly legal,
He don't have it.
perfectly
He don't
lawful.
right authority to do that.
Yes. He does not have. He, as a private man or woman, we do not have. We do not have the standing and delegation to do that, to enrich
they-
ourselves.
That's why you got to make another person to do it.
It's
I'm not
trespass.
making no other person because I'm not dragging around no dead bodies trying to bust in the back of the TD, the Treasury Direct, for those who don't know. I'm not doing it. I'm not dragging around dead bodies. I'm not inventing imaginary friends. There's still people, again, why they don't like me, because I say stuff like that. I don't have to do any commercial nonsense to exercise my dominion. Okay, so you guys see what it says right here on the screen? The position of sheriff is hiring. We are hiring. We are hiring. Look at it. Specialized assignments such as K9, detective, crime scene, school resource, DARE, tactical unit, and everybody read it with me. What? Commercial motor enforcement. Why do they distinguish that? It's commercial.
That's for deputy sheriff.
Yeah. We're hiring deputy sheriff position. Blah, 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 blah. Commercial motor. So when they roll up on your private car, what is the question to ask?
Proof that I'm rolling commercially.
Picture me roll.
Picture me rolling.
Why are you
the
talking to me?
Hagen, trying to catch me riding dirty.
Riding dirty.
Riding
Riding dirty.
dirty.
Riding dirty.
And I'm rolling.
Police friend of mine. I'm gonna do an interview with a police, ask some of these questions, and I'm gonna show you guys how dumbfounded these people really are. My friend right now, that's a police officer. If you're pulling over someone and they ask you, are they commercial capacity? What is gonna be your response? What? No, they were speeding. That's why I
But I can only be speeding if I was driving, and I could only be driving if I'm engaged in commerce.
And you can only be acting in commerce if you're daring science and if you're being anxious and doing solicitation.
I love this,
There-
Cindy. They tell
Bro, they-
you right there.
Crack is. Oh my god.
Hold on, they're hiring teeth. It says K9. They're hiring teeth. They don't get it.
Can I just apply for the 15 sick days per year?
I want the uniforms and
Okay.
dry cleaning provided.
Need none of it.
Can I
K-
get the
K is
uniforms and dry cleaning?
letter of the alphabet. So isn't that 911 backwards by saying K9?
Sure is.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Then they cheap as hell too. $30 an hour. That's only $60K a year, my people. And you poor.
And I got the potential to be seeing somebody shoot my ass because I was trespassing. Hell
But
no.
for 60K, look, before taxes, you
Wow.
poor and you're dumb.
Yo, real quick, Malika, they that dare at school and teach the kids about the drugs and shit. And I just put in the chat that I ain't even know who teaching us about.
I
You know
don't
that-
want
you
the
know-
school teaching my kids anything. Nothing. I don't want my child coming home asking me, Mom, what's coke? Because I'm not going to be telling them. So why are you telling them? They're not going to
Fuck
know
officer.
what's coke. They're not going to know what's acid. They're not going to know what's lean.
Wow.
A drug is any substance in medicines. Think about that for a second.
Wow.
Well, nowadays they being a transgender, telling
Right.
you there's no gender.
Right. You cannot trans.
I came in, he told me I had one thing, the poo poo and the poo nanny. So that's all I know.
Hey,
To touch him. Don't touch
I
that.
am.
Don't touch me
I am-
there. Private. Right?
No spots.
So We're going to put together a document, guys. Y'all know how I love to put together documents. The documents are going to be based on our conversation that we're having over here with as above, so below. So this is what it reminded me of, because Cindy also posted the screenshot of where this is. And like I said, it confirms that it's commercial. Commerce. Commercial meaning over 10,001 pounds. Everybody remembers that? Over 10,001 pounds. Or any weight if you're carrying hazmat. The city policy officers are not supposed to be talking to regular people. Champ, I hope your friend would be willing to come on here so our 100 closest friends could fuck around and find out. These people, we perceive them, when we learn this stuff, we perceive them as our enemy. But in order for them to be our enemy, they would literally have to know this and then be like, fuck that. I'm doing whatever I want. But they don't know it. I'm vouching for them. I'm going to vouch that if you ask 10 policy officers, 9.5 of them will not know that they're only supposed to be dealing with commercial motor vehicles, which are 10,001 or more pounds, or any weight carrying hazmat. I bet you 9.5 out of 10 of them will not know that that is their limited and only jurisdiction.
Right.
And
That's my
then
point.
they will also not know where. They think I'm at work. So the where is just everywhere I lay my eyes. If I can see you, you're in my jurisdiction, right?
You're in
Look
my
at the
hair.
where. Look at the
Wow.
where. Shall be deemed to include. When they use the word territories and possessions, which you will see it over and over. You will see territory and possessions, territory or possessions. You will see that.
Malik,
And when
yeah,
they say that,
who was stopped by the police, and she said to those, "You commit a crime," and she was like, she was a black woman, but I mean, she had a little cream in the. She was like, "You see me commit a crime," and these two cops, they look like they just lost the slave, got away. I mean, and she shut them down, wham, bam.
Bam, bam.
You,
Thank you.
yeah, she said, "You see me commit a crime, and get out of here."
well, where's the lie though? Because even before she commits the crime, she needs to be in a commercial vehicle, work, on the clock, under a manifest, carrying cargo. Or this is not me saying this. When you go and read the codes they charge you under, the state codes, the Georgia code, the Tennessee code, the Kentucky code, the Louisiana code, the Michigan code, the Ohio code, the Idaho code, the Washington code, they will tell you that they are enforcing Title 49 CFR 3.5. It says it in every state. You just copy and paste that. You put it into the search engine, you put any state next to it. Any state. You will find this is what they're enforcing.
I just ask a man and the very same thing. Interstate Commerce, he come to serve a petition for the court to next year. And I said, "Did you see that sign out there that says no solicit?" It also said no solicitation.
They're dumb as a box of
He goes, "Yeah, but
rocks.
I'm working for the court." I said, "Yeah, you're
Exactly.
hired.
They
You're
think it
hired by
does
the
not
court to
apply.
serve interstate commerce." Yeah, I can tell the story. I can tell the story later. It's
No,
funny,
go
but
ahead.
it's
Go ahead, Bobby.
he's a local officer, and they call him Pickle. Funnier, the Pick. If you say that backwards, is Pick. But I said his name Rogers. I said, "Listen, what you're trying to do, you're trying to serve a commercial debt state. This man that you're looking for is not a legal entity or legal pass through. You're doing pick description." He goes, "No, I was hired by the court to do court business." I said, "Yeah, do you see any court business going on here? You come to try to serve that on a man to induce him to volunteer to it." And he kind of got frustrated and started to walk off. I said, "Wait a minute, you don't have to leave frustrated. We can understand what's going on here." And he stopped at the door and turned around and said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, we can understand way mad. I don't want you to go away mad." He goes, "Well, I'm working for the court." I said, "Yeah, you're hired by the court to do pecuniary interest outside of public service. That's what's happening here, because that they say that man owes a debt. For the my understanding that he don't have a delegation authority to handle debt instruments for the United States. And matter of fact, either. But you're being hired outside of your job to do that thing on the clock.
I would be this.
Well, he
Get the fuck off
understood.
my property.
He
Period.
said 3 times. He said 3 times he understood what I was saying.
I
said,
still don't think
understand.
he
And
understands
I'm
what he's
trying to help
saying.
I'm trying
Because
to
you
help
see
you
right
grow
here
the
where it says said territories and possessions shall be deemed to only include the Virgin Islands of the United States, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, American Samoa, the Commonwealth
Carl
of
says,
Northern Mariana Islands, Guam. Who lives here, guys? Who on this call lives here? Who on this call got pulled over, tased, beat up, jailed here? When they drug you out your car, were you here?
No, no.
When they sent
And
the
the thing
warrant?
is, Malika, that I was reading, they said the highest legislative court is out of Guam. So that's for them. That's not for us. That's for
Oh
them.
my
Their
goodness.
highest
I'm here and
legislative court is out of Guam.
I'm
live
here and I'm here and I'm queer. I'm set apart
I
from
live in
them. I'm
Bali.
odd from
They got people over here trying to contort themselves
Sternberg.
to be Title 25 USC Indians, because you can't be an Indian. You cannot be an Indian. So you could only be an Indian.
That's what they said. That's what it got it all twisted, Malika. They said engine and people.
And they meant locomotion.
Yeah, they meant locomotion.
Get this. Hold on a second. The inscription above on the cross, INRI. Engine is INJUN.
And you see, it says whenever the
In-
reference is made. All right. So we were supposed to be looking up the courts. You guys did a great job last time looking up the courts, showing that the non-resident defendant must be conducting business within the state. A lot of you guys have found the Buck Act. How y'all like that Buck Act? The Buck Act, approved by the president, is entitled an act to permit the states to extend their sales, use, and income taxes to persons residing or carrying on business occurring in federal areas only. That's why Bobby almost made that process server cry. He's crying because he's learning Bobby's house is not in a federal area.
My energy of mana is in my father's house, and he has many rooms. We're not in McMansions.
I was in a McMansion.
When Buck Act.
That's right. We going Buck Act Wild. That's what I want everybody to do right now. That's why I'm summarizing, right? We learned that engaging in business, and we learned that engaging in business is not just doing your business, but actually commencing, conducting, and continuing business, corporate or franchise powers. Not just going to the store, taking Bobby to basketball, taking Susie to ballet. That's not what you were doing when you got in your car. So,
Hey, but hold on. That means that the Buck Act only applies to the guy who has the building.
yeah, that's why they be chasing the buck, passing the buck, right? So,
And buck the system.
or bucking the system, right? Buck act the system. So we know that they're supposed to be acting with these clean hands, okay? Now, I'm gonna talk about take a second to talk about these clean hands. When Champ, for example, is talking about bringing on some guy that's gonna be interviewed and asked if he's aware of any of these things, the reason why he cannot actually be aware and why we would actually be ruining his commercial life. We will be ruining his income because he is collecting income on behalf of the corporation, because the corporation is not doing the labor. He's doing the labor. He's collecting income, revenue for the corporation. It's going to ruin his revenuing collection business because he will not any longer be able to claim clean hands and good faith.
Then look, then when he comes on, you guys got to play.
Well,
Christopher Williams up in here. That was perfect.
Hey,
Right? We
my
want
son,
to,
I want to
we
know.
want to,
I want to know what you did with that money. What you did with that money your mom gave you from someone else.
everybody asks, how do I enforce this? How does this become enforceable? What can I do to, like, we want to know, how can we basically have power to effect comprehension in these people? How can we stop them in their track? We have to let them know that their only immunity is their stupidity. Their only immunity is their stupidity. We will make them unstupid because we're going to send them a notice of wrong party. It's not me. It's not me. Okay. We're gonna
No,
start
they
off
don't
with one of Bobby's favorite
have
lines.
even stupidity. That's Screws versus U.S.
They have
The
to
judge said
claim.
to the officer, you cannot say you didn't have knowledge of me. You are not insane. That's Screws versus U.S. He must be insane.
Go ahead and put that in the chat. Go ahead and put that in the chat. And so we're gonna start off with Bobby's first line, right? Right, Bobby? Here we go. It has come to my attention that I'm not qualified to be a party to this case as a defendant, and moves this court to enter an order dismissing this claim, and states in support. Now, before y'all get too copy pasty, I did not intend for this to be in all caps. You do not have to leave it in all caps. In fact, I suggest you don't. But of course, you could do whatever you wish. I put this part in here about affidavits. Nevertheless, the effect of affidavits on a well-pleaded claim for relief, whether the non-moving party must come forward with a counter affidavit or suffer summary judgment, and related questions are procedural in nature and therefore must be resolved by federal law. So don't be coming at me in these lower courts, city court, county court, state court, when you cannot produce a contract that we have together, the plaintiff and the defendant, guys. What do we always say when we're looking at captions? The plaintiff and the defendant must be of like kind. It must be of like kind. So there has to be a special kind of relationship between the plaintiff and defendant. That's called in Latin. Who remembers how to spell it? Because y'all know I don't. Generis? E just them. Generis. I don't know how to spell. Do I have it right? Yeah. Woo, I've been practicing.
That's where metals do not go together, and that's why fusion happens. It can only happen by fusion. And nucleus
So
has to melt it together.
when can a federal, state, or municipal officer legitimately speak to us without our consent?
we gotta be like kind in uniform, on the job, and on the clock.
When can they? When can they legitimately speak to us without our consent?
When they see us committing a felony.
I can't commit felonies. I'm not an agent. Emergency. Right. Emergency. Thank you. Somebody said it. Emergency. Because in an emergency, anybody can talk to you logically, legally, lawfully, right? Hey, watch out.
Was it a jungle?
Watch out. Now, I don't have to listen. I don't have to listen, right? You can't punish me for not heeding to your emergency, But you can warn me, hey, watch out. Someone else is also correct. When they see you committing an actual crime, it does not have to be a felony, because you have to be a public administrator to qualify for a thing called a felony. How do we know? Because felonies are defined under the Constitution. If I'm not under the Constitution, I cannot be bound to anything under the Constitution, anything defined under the Constitution, anything that controls under the Constitution. That cannot be me. If I'm anywhere in the Constitution, it's in the preamble. The preamble is above. The preamble is above the Constitution, not under. Okay? So, but it is correct. We're witnessing a crime. But who else can arrest you if they see you committing a crime? Is it only agents? It's any witness. Any witness to a crime can arrest you. If someone sees you raping someone else, they can stop you, arrest you, and hold you till backup comes. And just like anybody can hail you for an emergency, anybody could arrest you if they see you committing a crime. The reason why I'm stressing on this is because we have to know that these are not things that are limited to agents. That's the only thing that makes them legit. The only thing that makes speaking to you without your consent, whether someone is an agent or not, is an emergency. The only justification for arresting you without a warrant, whether I'm an agent or not, is if I witness you committing a crime, a known crime, rape, murder. I see you bludgeoning somebody. Now, you might be self-defense, but I still have the right to arrest you to be like, hey, what's going on here? If the other person's unconscious, you still beating on them. I mean, even if you were the victim, you won, right? You won. It's over. They're unconscious or dead, okay? But if I witness it, it is my right. Now, I don't have to act on it. Like I said, I could ignore your emergency and I could ignore someone's committing a crime. I could just mind my business. But it is my right still. Some would even say it's your duty. If you know an emergency is happening, it's your duty to warn your brother or your sister or your neighbor or whatever. It might be your duty to intervene if you are actually witnessing harm. So that's why I want to pull these out, and I'm really stressing them. Because the other things that they do, okay, the other things that they do speak to us in regard requires a maritime cohesion agreement. And what are those?
Your party.
What are those types of agreements? Because we should know by now what maritime is if you've been following along. I know at least 80 of on here has been following along every call.
Okay. Minimal contact.
Business license.
Bobby's trying to be like Hassan, but just say it real quick.
Mammogram.
Right, just call off what kind of wrong shit. Mammogram. You know, what they call it when they search the men? Prostate check. What
Horrible.
What are these? What is the beginning of your maritime contract, guys? What's step one?
Oh,
Your
I can't
driver's
wait.
license, your birth certificate.
I can't wait to miss that cavities.
Nothing.
Missing it? Yes. Let's miss.
Okay, did anybody say the right answer? Did anybody hear the right answer? But how?
Okay.
What is the actual agreement? Because remember, that's right here, right? Thank you. One person just said
It's
it.
the same thing as, sir, may I please have some?
That's right. This is in the Declaration of Independence, my people. But remember, where else is it? Where did you guys find that same word? Find those same words in the Bill of Rights of the state constitution? Do you guys remember that day we did that where we said find the state connection? It's in Article 1, Section 1 for Washington. Governments derive their just powers from consent of the governed, right? So when we talk about these maritime contract cohesion agreements, that first one is an oath of office. What's the other one? There's only one other kind. It goes back to their subject matter jurisdiction. Come on.
Nice government.
What's the other type of agreement that you can have to be bound under the Constitution? It's related to their
employment.
It's related to what they can regulate.
License, a business license.
Licenses.
Yeah.
Cynthia's behavior.
Exactly. Because guess what? They are business licenses, are they not?
Yes. For business opportunity.
For business opportunities. That's right. And they include marriage.
This is the Willies.
Liquor.
Yep.
Driver. It's not even S.
It's just driver because you're a chauffeur. These were originally called if they called it chauffeur license, would it be more obvious to y'all?
And that's what my auntie had. She worked for some people, and the chauffeur was supposed to take my auntie shopping so my auntie can cook for the family.
If we say it
So
in
that's what she
French,
did.
do you English speakers comprehend it more clearly? Is it clear, English speakers, that you are at work when we call it a chauffeur? Because that's what it is.
Exactly.
The job is called chauffeur.
Exactly. Malika, you got to remember in the South, they teach us different than in the North. So sofa, and then you come up north and they call it a couch. And you know how they.
It's funny that you say that because a sofa and a couch are in fact different. That's why they call it a love seat, single chair. A sofa and a couch, one seats two, the other seats three. I don't want to be splitting hairs, but that's
Well, no, you're not splitting hairs. The reason why
that's words are important. Because if they're not important, I mean, we just chillaxing and we just shooting the shit. We could say whatever. I'm not gonna correct you if you call a couch a sofa or a sofa a couch. But they are in fact different things. They sit different amounts of people.
because the arm and the back.
Yes. And that's why there's shades, lounge, and stuff like that. So who can name another business license?
Up north, they say police. They say peace officer. I didn't know about peace officer till I started reading about.
T license.
I see y'all just got me doing it by myself. I can't even spell. Okay. So who thinks that the policy officer is gonna bust out the original agreement of any of these things when they come to enforce them?
Nah, not gonna happen.
And that's why we always have to challenge that. We always have to ask for the instrument that supports the underlying obligation. I hope everybody's making notes because I know people are going to ask me to get to my notes when they shouldn't be, right? So I put this here from the last time we spoke because I want you guys to recognize the as above, so below connection of the court rules. So, for example, the federal rules of procedure, 1 through 100 or whatever it is, have corresponding sections in the state courts as well, okay? So, Federal Rule of Procedure 17, for example, is called Civil Rule 17 in most states. You guys can check me right now. Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 17 is called Civil Rule or CR. They might call it Civ R, okay? They have a state equivalent of the court rules. And the court rules are very important. Go ahead.
That's your witness, just real quick, that's your wisdom. That's interesting because that's what I was telling this consort that you guys heard at the beginning, that you guys may have to be there on your sign, and which is Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 17C, which means now should be there in Rule 17 somewhere in the same section, if not still what state of jurisdiction, so to speak. I yield.
Okay, so you have federal, it says here, the Federal Court of Appeals shall have jurisdiction to issue writs certiorari to all, very important, pay attention, agencies, public corporations, and public officials. If these are the subject matter of the appeals court and the appeals court are only looking after what the lower courts are doing, doesn't that mean that this too must be the jurisdiction of the lower courts if this is what the appeals can look at? Look at what they're saying. This is their jurisdiction. How precisely did our private life squeeze into one of these? Ask yourself. That's why we're making this wrong party defendant. It has come to my attention. I am not qualified to be a party to this case as a defendant and move this court to enter an order dismissing this case. Defendant denies that he has signed any contract or other obligation that binds him to the maritime or admiralty jurisdiction of this court.
What he's hearing to see that he was legally qualified to do deposits and withdrawals to him handled no preliminary hearing to see if he could be a legal accommodating party. He has no delegation of
That's what
authority.
we're saying. We're not qualified. We do not have the oath. We don't have the oath to be held to the statutes and codes. We're at the time of the transaction, the officer didn't produce a record of a maritime cohesion contract. The court doesn't have one on the record. When they bring you in for a traffic whatever, do they ever show you the contract? Do they ever put it on the record? No, you just start talking about I wasn't parked there. I wasn't parked there that long. I wasn't going that fast. I actually do have license and insurance. I'm going to bring it and show it to you. This is what we start thinking. The record does not reflect that the defendant did knowingly and willingly convey any interest, right, or title of his property or himself to the state. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting?
That means you have to swear to pecuniary
Get us some water.
their saint, their master, their lord. Oath.
So I want you guys to notice something. We learn all of this. But that's not what's going in the paperwork. We're not putting everything that we got in the paperwork in there. This is how you translate your notes. What you comprehend is expressed here. We're saying the same thing here. We're just saying it in regular words. We understand that the record should reflect that the defendant did knowingly and willingly convey. Because if the record doesn't reflect that the defendant did it knowingly and willingly, what is that called, my people? What is it called if the record doesn't reflect that the defendant knowingly and willingly? It's either slavery or involuntary servitude. Thank you.
You can't ask someone who quote mentally challenged if they understand something when they don't have
capacity
or knowledge or disclosure or confidence things.
This is exactly
So they don't have
why
this
The
sagacity.
capacity.
this is exactly what I was thinking, Hassan. I was thinking about that same thing. That's why I'm stressing that part for that our brother and sister that's on the line. This everybody really, because this is for yourself. This is for a loved one. This is for your neighbor that you heard was in jail. This is for your complete strangers. You just hear some shit happened on the news. You can submit one of these, notice of wrong party. It has come to my attention that insert any name, that guy you accused on the news, right? Total stranger. That woman you beat up. And I realized that my friend AIM never qualified for you to even talk to her, much less arrest her and beat her and put her body in a cage for any amount of time. A single second. This is why we're making this document. I'm done with people talking about I got a court date. I'm just like, how can I get the people to get this? Do you guys feel you can explain this to your friends?
You know,
Malika, that's the issue.
That is
but
the
some
issue.
people don't want to know the truth.
No. I'm not talking about people who don't want to know. Fuck those people. Listen to me very carefully as I repeat. Fuck those fucking fucks, okay? I'm not talking about those people. I'm not trying to. I am never talking to people that need convincing. You see what that judge said? If I believe that a person, an entity, does not have jurisdiction over me, I am not getting out of bed. I am not taking time off work. I am not changing anything about my day. The judge said that. On the clock. In commerce.
On the clock.
Absolute.
If I didn't
On behalf of
think
the
anyone had
state.
authority me, I wouldn't get out of bed.
So when my dearly beloved aunt sends me both a text message and a Facebook message, my dear niece, turn yourself in. Into what? I'm already a sexy beast. What am I turning myself into?
Whatever you turn
Superhero.
By
I'm
midnight.
already
Oh, yo,
nicknamed impunity from
Slow
the age
start,
of
slow
two. Okay. The case was initiated
down.
under insert whatever stupid code. The code, all of them, are written by, you already know, is the Code Commission. You can see it. They tell you it in the beginning
It
of
should say
wherever they're talking about your code. They're going to tell you it in the beginning. It's going to tell you it's by some group of attorneys.
the code should be identity theft.
Right on. Right on.
I'm just talking about the name of the code itself. Write out the whole name of the code. New York compiled statutes or whatever stupid crap, whatever Florida codes of nonsense or whatever. See who they're written by.
consolidated.
Right. I don't care what they call revised codes, revised statutes, consolidated codes, consolidated statutes, whatever they're called. They're written by some committee that is not Congress, because the beginning of this,
Wow.
the beginning of this is Congress shall have the power. That's the whole thing. That's the whole next thing.
Right.
Okay. It's the reason we're doing.
Congress writes public policy.
That's
They
right.
don't write
Public
law.
policy.
They don't write law. That's why public policy goes to the federal court, not law. So basically, you have the statutes, which are an interpretation of public policy. That's all it is.
The fact is not that it's interpretation. The problem is that it's public, and they keep applying it to us private people. And instead of us sticking to the main point, which is that we are not the public, therefore these were not written for private people because they were written by this council. Okay, there's no enacting clause for the RCWs. There's no enacting clause. So it's not a law that is universally applicable to every man and woman that live, work, and play on the land commonly known as whatever state. Okay? Whatever state. Since it's written by them and it's not law, it is not, that committee cannot write law that's universal. Neither can Congress, because the First Amendment says Congress shall make no law, and everybody keeps focusing on what they said after that instead of the fact that, because if Congress can make no law, I don't know why I'm reading anything after that. None of it has anything to do with me. You cannot write law that's universally applicable to every man and woman that lives, work, and play on the land commonly known as the United States of America or any state therein. Congress shall make no law. Okay, close the book. That's it, kids. Go live your life. Since there's no enacting clause for these RCWs, they only applicable to those persons in contractual agreement, the maritime contract, that you have to be acting under. You have to be acting under it at the time of the alleged act or omission. You have to be. So if you are on your way home from work and a policy officer stops you and you show them your liquor license, you would have to be operating under that liquor license for that liquor license to matter in that transaction. I intentionally chose the liquor license and not the chauffeur license to show you guys how silly it is. You were not chauffeuring when you were on your way to or from school. You were not foster parenting. You were probably not cosmetologying while you were using your car, while you were sitting behind the steering wheel. Hopefully you weren't trying to put on your eyeliner in between traffic stops. You weren't trying to trim your mustache with your cordless
And my hands at 10 and 2. I was giving.
right. Right. It can only, you have to be in contractual agreement at the time. You can't just be joyriding in a stolen car that your friend took while you were, not of sound mind. Those persons in these contractual agreements, the persons that qualify for those agreements are defined. And I always say to use the first mention in the statute. I prefer the very first mention. The strategy behind, for me, using the first mention is because if it's the first mention in chapter 1, just like 1 USC 1, does that not mean it's applicable to all the other chapters?
Yeah.
Chapter 1 defines person as association, unincorporated association, person, firm, corporation, to include limited liability company. To me, it sounds like only limited liability companies that are organized as associations, unincorporated associations, firms, or corporations. That's what it sounds like to me.
That's what I always happen to see is LLC.
Right. And that's what all of these SPC, UCC1, NPC gurus are telling everybody to go set up. You got your LLC yet? Go get your LLC. Your LLC will set you free. Your LLC is what you need to exercise your God-given dominion. Did you guys not know that?
No, it's your
That's what Martin Luther King was talking about. I have a dream that one day
your DBA.
I will be able to DBA like the best of us. The state must have an interest. The state must have an interest or ownership in the property. Whatever the property is, guys, whether the property is your parental rights, whether the property is your vessel, aka automatic covered wagon, whether the property is a house, land, a bike, a boat, the state must have an interest or ownership in the property. For them to be the plaintiff, they must have interest in the property in order for them to delegate authority to the political subdivision called the county to take an in rem action upon it. And when I say in rem, everything they're trying to do is in rem. They're saying that you're transporting. You're always transporting. That's why they put the regulation of these contracts, they put it under traffic, transportation, interstate commerce. That's why everything pivots around the driver's license. When they talk about engaging in this state, when they describe doing business, when you see the sections that they're under, when they define conducting business, doing business in Washington, see, public officers, public agencies, trade or business in the tax code is only performance of the function of public office. You trying to tell me they don't have the wrong party when they write you a ticket or they write a warrant of any kind? That's an in rem action on a license. They're acting on a license. They're acting on a relationship. This right
Can you go
here.
back to that title? Yeah. Can you type next to it if you can? That is called the motor vehicle leasing agreement. That's exactly what that section, that part is called.
Yes.
Shout out to Keith.
Yes.
That 45-minute video where he just goes in on it.
Yes. That's what up here by the taxes. They actually call it they don't call it a motor vehicle lease agreement. They call it, but they do call it a lease agreement. Lease is related to the license.
Motor vehicle leasing agreement. Section H, that's 26 lowercase h, number 2, capital C, lowercase I.
I think it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 234. Have you guys found the state equivalents here in this jurisdiction? For example, it matches Federal Rule 2 is exemplified here at Rule 2A. They call it Supreme Court Civil Rule. It's also just referred to as Civil Rule. It says, this is what I wanted to show you guys. This is very important, especially for those of us who are talking about the show authority for the attorney. You're looking for something in the rules, federal rules, or another state rule to support that they have to show authority. Look what it says right here. No agreement or consent between parties or attorneys. No agreement or consent between parties or attorneys in respect to the proceedings in a cause will be regarded by the court unless the same shall have been made and assented to in open court on the record or entered into the minutes, or unless the evidence thereof shall be in writing and subscribed by the attorney denying the same. Read it again for yourself. The attorneys claiming to be hired by who? To do what? Did they make that ascension in open court and on the record?
Probably not.
They want to block us from challenging the attorney's authority. They want to claim the existence of this statute is what makes me able to represent this company. No, no law says that. All law says that your authority has to be in writing. It has to exist. And even if it's presumed, it has to be produced when it is challenged. And they sometimes like to say, plaintiff or defendant has cited no law which allows them to ask for the record. But here it is. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. No agreement or consent will be regarded by the court unless the same has been made in open court and on the record. Hello, judgy wudgy that don't read. Same thing with Rule 3. I'm showing you guys the state ones, but go ahead and fill in the federal ones so you can see the as above, so below, so they could go ahead and say, oh, we don't follow federal rules here. Well, that's fine because it's right here in the state rules. So shut the fuck up and do what you're supposed to do. Do what you're supposed to do. Say that again.
I said, biatch.
I'm thinking it was somebody saying something important and got cut off. Look at how they're supposed to commence an action. Commencement of an action. Methods. A civil action shall be commenced by service of a copy of the summons together with a copy of the complaint. Why do I need to talk about the fact that I was not doing this or doing that if you didn't even serve me a copy of the summons? It did not include a complaint. It did not include a complaint. Why I'm turning myself in for a notice to appear, which is a process that's due to internal agents of the corporation? Why would I follow that process? Why would I follow a process due to internal agents of a corporation?
Okay, I'll be serious on this emotional outburst. Think deeds do. Oh, they know law? Well, let's see if what they do if we do the key thing here. Let's see how they react.
Well, if you go in there thinking that you're supposed to argue that you were or were not going that fast, that you did or did not pay, that you were or were not late, if that's what you're going into, because you get blindsided when you see who's the alleged plaintiff. You start thinking, well, they did lend me money. Well, I did stop paying. Well, I did slap my child on the hand, so I should go explain myself about how I discipline. This is what people are doing, right?
Right.
Because they don't know what it means when they see a caption of who's the relation, what the relationship has to be between the plaintiff and a defendant. So they get down and reading all this stuff, and it's like, no, what? No, what do you? Why are you? I don't care nothing about that. Do you work for them? Were you on the clock at work for them at the time when they gave you this notice to appear or whatever you want to call it? Because if the answer is no, hello, wrong party, bust out my notice. I'm not qualified to be a party to this case. Y'all see what I'm saying? Pursuant to the Declaration of Independence, whatever the article is, I don't even remember anymore, but y'all can go fill it in. Governments derive their just powers by consent of the governed. There's another section in the code. It's actually RCW 42 something here. I'm about to memorize it, okay? But it says that the people do not yield their authority to the agencies that serve them. It says it in every state. It's actually verbatim a quote. It's connected to the Public Records Act, funny enough. The Open Meetings Act is what it's connected to, because you can ask them for the minutes. You can ask them for the minutes of any meeting, of anything. You get entered into the minutes on the record. Yeah, show me that. They tell us that an action can only be commenced by a complaint, serving a copy of the complaint. I didn't get a copy of the complaint. I didn't get service. First of all, I didn't get service. And they don't even allege that they served me a complaint. If the judge is entertaining a case that was improperly instituted, can the judge claim some type of immunity?
He might can claim some type of immunity if he's vaccinated.
If he's vaccinated. You're not vaccinated against my criminal complaints. Same thing with Rule 4.
Suffering.
The state level of Rule 4 is going to mirror the state level, the federal level of Rule 4. The summons must be signed, dated by the plaintiff or the plaintiff's attorney, and directed to the defendant, requiring the defendant to defend the action and serve a copy on the defendant's appearance or defense on the person whose name is signed on the summons. Usually it's the clerk, which is funny. It's the clerk that's usually signed on the summons, if they give you one at all. This other thing I want to show you guys, this is very important.
Like, no matter.
Who's that? Go ahead and add your point.
Yeah, I was to notice like just the portion of pattern recognition. We can clearly see that on the federal level, it reflects on the state and the municipal level, whether it's court or anything. There's a reflection there in correcting our concepts and getting better comprehension as we're studying this, that we notice be some way, shape, or form that there's that type of reflection on all three levels. If not, it's unconstitutional.
Malika.
Yeah.
Right. But it doesn't have to be constitutional if we just, out here white slaving, right? Maybe you made some other agreement that you can be hunted. Maybe you signed like, what do they call it? West. There was a short stint of a show, Westworld, where you sign up for the stupid shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't sign up for the stupid shit. And this is the other reason people don't like me. Somebody's on Facebook right now trying to debate me that I have an account somewhere. That's like saying, Malika, there's an account for you at Westworld. How there's going to be an account for me at Westworld? I don't want to go. I'd never been. How can it be my account if it exists over there? Does that make sense? That's like the Nigerian prince that got something for you. How did you get something for me? You can't tell me it's my account at the TD. How? Can somebody tell me if I didn't request that shit to be made, how it became mine? Nobody donned me, and Malika shall have the account ending in. If one of those two events didn't happen, can somebody explain to me how it legitimately became mine?
Well, if
It
you go
can't.
to the utility, then what you gonna find out?
Because it's like, you do have an account. People are still talking about they're ministering your estate. Do you think they fighting for your freedom in Afghanistan too? Do you think, how did your freedom get over there? How did your freedom get over there, guys? How did your freedom get to anywhere?
How does all your shit get taken away when you die and then go to probate? That's just simplistic shit.
Exactly.
Shit's tied to your name. It's yours. I don't give a fuck. You guys say what you want, but it's yours. So she wouldn't be out. If my mom's is mine.
You're right. It's
I
called
wouldn't-
my mom, not the state's mom.
You do this state, turn this motherfucker. So at the end of the day, you can say it's not yours. Somebody's
No. I'm not saying my shit is not mine. I'm saying if they have an account, if they have the account, it can't have nothing to do with my stuff. I would have to make the account if it has something to do with my stuff. That's what I'm saying. So if the account is mine, then all the shit is mine as well. Everything is mine. But if you can't make an account and then say it has something to do with me, I'm not your slave. I mean, if it's mine, yeah. But if it's yours, don't talk to me about it. It don't have nothing to do with me. You already said it's my mom, right? This my mom. This my mom house. How is it your business? You just said it's my mom, because they're not gonna say it's their mom. That's what's not gonna happen. That's what's not gonna happen. This is the other thing I want to impart to everybody.
That's my estate.
Right.
That's my estate.
I mean, like I said, my estate is my dominion that's already been granted to me by my Father, who art in heaven. hallowed be his name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
Right. That's what they.
On earth as it is in heaven. You're not going to turn me
they
into
taking
no
from us.
debtor. You're not going to even turn me into a creditor. You're going to miss me with all that shit.
That's what they took from us.
Here it is, guys.
No, we've been our state been taken and they took over.
Nah, no. You can't touch none of I don't care what you can't say, oh, they started a game over there, so their game over there automatically includes me. That's the problem we're having. You made up, I was here exercising my dominion. You made up some stupid ass game that I'm not a part of. And then you come to me saying, well, we made this game, so you have to play. That's what's happening. Is it not? Is that not what's happening? We made up this game over there. You got to play.
Yep.
Discovery materials not to be filed. This is why your disqualification and your attorney interrogatories and stuff like that does not go on the record. When we send them the stuff private and they put on the record, we should ask for sanctions. That's why this next one is here. We should ask for sanctions because they are violating Rule 5. If I send you the private notice of no authority to the attorney, the attorney realized that they were not supposed to file it. In one person's situation, they sent the private notice to the attorney. The attorney filed it on a record like a retard. They realized that we can ask for sanctions. So they tried to strike their own filing. They tried, okay.
Gotta cut my nose despite my face. Oh, that's
Yeah, they didn't know because these attorneys are not used to getting any kind of pushback, or I should say legitimate pushback. And the reason why I say legitimate pushback, they are used to people doing all type of so-called sovereign citizen nonsense that is totally meaningless. And so when I hear people say, I put this on the record, they ignored it. I put that on the record, they ignored it. Good. Be glad that they are not prosecuting you for the nonsense you put on there, because we all know that there are people getting prosecuted for the nonsense that they put on there. Depositions upon oral examinations, depositions upon written questions, interrogatories, and responses thereto, requests for production or inspection and responses thereto, requests for admissions and responses thereto, and other requests and responses thereto shall not be filed with the court unless for use in a proceeding or trial or upon order of the court.
Malika, emotional outburst question then. So knowing the rules of the court is like, so you don't get a whistle blown on you for traveling or double dribbling or going out again.
Double dribbling.
Indeed.
Everybody thinks the magic happens on the record, in the spotlight, so that you can show your friends, girl, pull up my pacer. Let me show you how I blah, blah, blah. But your case will be lost or won depending on what you communicate. And now you know that they like to use the term discovery. You can title it notice of discovery, right? Or whatever, just so they know why it's not on the record. Notice discovery of standing and jurisdiction, okay? Discovery, just use the word. You don't have to put and jurisdiction. You don't have to put, you can put whatever, right? I'm just making a creative way to use the term discovery so that it doesn't get on the record. What they don't tell you is you can serve discovery on the court too. Hello, court. How did you come to be able to hold me to your invitation? I want to inspect. I want to inspect my consent. I want to inspect it. Because if you don't have my consent, you're either not the government or your exercise of powers are unjust. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, say that again.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So if you put it on the record, do you then submit it to the file as well?
If you do what on the record?
So when you send them the private notice of the attorney no authority, like they file it in the record. You didn't, but they did.
Yes.
Do now you include that in whatever you put now on the file responding to them?
Do I include the fact that they filed a discovery motion? is what you're asking? Do I say in some communication to
You
them?
no, do you include the noted of what you sent to them so that it's clear in regards to what they're responding? Yeah, I said it right. What
No.
they're responding?
Already explains
Oh,
where
okay.
it's going.
You have to charge them for sanctions when they do that, period. You're not pandering to argue whatever they're talking about in their thing. It's like, I sent them a discovery. That's all I'm going to call it. I don't have to say what I sent them a discovery material, and they violated Rule 5 and put it on the record.
If you don't send it to the clerk, it ain't.
Got it.
Sanction the judge.
I would sanction whoever put it on the record. Yeah, do a judicial complaint. Do a judicial complaint.
I'm just saying, when I send a motion, they go into the clerk, and they already know what the fuck to do. When we send it to somebody else, and then they take it upon themselves to put it, and they know clerk in the CEC on the mailing list, then goddamn it, it's self-explanatory.
Signing and drafting of pleadings, motions, and legal memoranda, sanctions. This is exactly the same on the federal level as well. If a pleading, motion, or legal memorandum is signed in violation of this rule, the court, upon motion, see, the court could do it upon motion. And this is going back again to the attorney no authority and the disqualification, because this doesn't say that it's limited to just the alleged parties. These are rules of the court. The judge is not supposed to be violating these. The clerk is not supposed to be violating these. The attorneys, which are considered court officers, are not supposed to be violating these. It's called rules of the court. The referee has rules, right? That they have things they're supposed to follow. So if a pleading motion, what does it say? Upon motion or its own initiative may impose upon the person who signed it, a represented party or both, an appropriate sanction, which may include an order to pay to the other party or parties the amount of reasonable expenses incurred because of filing of the pleading motion or legal memoranda, including reasonable attorney fees. Now, this is kind of vague if you don't read the federal rule, in my opinion, because they say that you can file for sanctions if someone violates this rule, but they don't actually flesh out what the rule is. But in essence, the rule is that when an attorney or anyone, court officer, signs anything, they certify by their signing, not even if they put they don't even have to put a separate certification. Just by the fact that they're signing, they are saying that they did an investigation, that they did a pre-filing, pre-signing investigation into the facts and law of the matter and found it to be credible. They found it to be credible. So how could a warrant be credible if the warrant is written under a statute and the statute isn't applicable to the people? But the clerk signed it. The judge signed it. Y'all follow me?
Is that like also pursuant to or deceit?
Pursuant to what?
Like deceit or collusion?
Oh,
It sound like a
look,
conspiracy.
if it's done not with clean hands and in good faith.
Right.
If it was done in good
would it
faith,
sound-
then no. If it was done after we remove that good faith, then yes. It also does include warring against the Constitution, creating fictitious obligations, creating false securities, invasion of privacy. It violates, what is it called? Being cognizant of a felony committed by a court and not reporting it. That's 18 U.S.C. 4.
Prison of treason.
Yep. Misprision of treason, misprision of felony, malfeasance of office, abuse of office, abuse of process. That's why we can ask for sanctions. The reason why these attorney no authority discovery materials against both the attorney and the judge is hurting their feelings.
Emotional outburst question then in lieu of Rule 11. My question then would be is the correction. If you were to send something to a so-called court venue and This is from send something to them and asking basically, essentially for a records request. And they send you a response. It's not signed. They are trying to keep themselves from being sanctioned to fraud. I'm open for correction.
Yes. Whenever you
Is that true or
receive
false?
whenever you receive material that is unsigned by them, they're trying to avoid this liability here. That's why they do it.
Correct.
See, and that's an
Because then
important
you can
question because whatever I'm receiving, if it's not signed, it's just like that guy that I asked, is this the first page? Because it says page 2 of 2. So I would ask, this is not signed. So so whatever it's saying in the body of it is not legit. Isn't the signature what activates any piece of paper? If you get a contract that's all
correct
filled out,
inducement to
you
fraud.
get a contract that's all filled out, address, name, birthday, blah blah blah, all that data, and it's not signed. Does it matter that it's filled out? Will people go, oh well, they already filled it out.
No, because there's nobody bound to it.
There's no one bound to it. It literally is trash.
There's no one bound.
So when we get people acting
With the
on
fraud.
these papers with no signature, we have to hold them to the rules. No one has said anything if the paper is unsigned. Ask them for a signed copy. I would love to read whatever you said, but I recognize it's not signed, so no one is bound or liable for speaking. I require you to send me a signed copy of this. Whatever this is. Let me get the signed copy. Let me get the signed and dated copy. You see, it doesn't even have to be under penalties of perjury because they agreed to these rules through their what? Court folks agreed to these rules through their what?
Through their
Bar.
Their maritime agreement contract, their maritime cohesion agreement called an oath of office and or a business license. Any kind of certificate, we try to make a big deal. Sometimes we try to make big deals over the wrong things. I don't care if you call it a certificate or a license. If I don't have one to be a part of your organization, get the hell out my face. I don't care what you call it. I have to have one as well in order for us to have this e judimus generis. Okay, so let's put some other points of why this stuff is inapplicable. Okay, since the code is not universally applicable, right? Since it's not universally applicable, and pursuant to the Declaration of Independence of governments derived their just power from consent to govern, we're thinking we have to ask for those records requests for that consent, and we should know what the lawfully promulgated records should be. For example, if the state of Washington wants to create a relationship with me, apparently I had to have submitted an application. So if and this actually happened, that's why I'm using it. Pulled me over 2019, not even pulled me over because I don't get pulled over. They harassed me in a parking lot. I was literally sitting in the car in a parking lot. They harassed me, stole my identity, used it to create an account that I didn't apply for. Okay? I did not apply for it. But I contacted the Department of Licensing and I got one of the agents and asked, what is the method upon which to create a relationship with you? And she confirmed. Step 1, application. And I said, well, records request. Do you have my application to have an account? If this is my name, do you have the application? AKA Maritime Cohesion Contract. Do you have the application? They did not have the application. It means they didn't have the consent of the governed.
Or a signed statement of their investigation of patient in question, so they can now send to you in writing with a signature, allegedly. Oh, well, according to your request, we do not have any record of that which you out. And so and so and so and so on the date of date, undersigned here, it says that this was correct. And now you can their agency or whatever corporation to that particular investigation.
What was that, Charles?
Know your plan. Don't lie. You know your plan.
Shush up. All right. I'm gonna need y'all to look up these words. Look up these words here. Look up this concept. And I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
Okay.
Everyone to take a number 2 and wipe with their notice.
Fuck.
And fold it up and enter it into the envelope.
And call it a Dirty
You
Sanchez.
can have this shit.
They gonna say you're a terrorist.
Biological warfare. Wow.
All right. We got Brother Keith in the house.
Hey.
Jeez.
Okay, so I guess this is getting kind of long, but this is the end. Right? They got to have this maritime contract since their whatever their codes are not universally applicable to every man and woman or child that live, work, and play on land commonly known as whatever, whether it be the city of whatever, the county of, the state of, doesn't matter. They don't have anything universal. We just went through this whole process to show everyone that you have to be starting something in order for you to be violating something, right? They tell us right here. They tell us right here, the jurisdiction of the district court, municipal court is traffic violations, domestic violence, appeals. Okay, look, the court has limited jurisdiction. They have, what does it say? The district courts, county courts serve defined territories, both incorporated and unincorporated within the counties. Municipal courts are those created by, not Congress, not Congress. If it's created by the cities, who can it be for?
City employees. Oh,
City
shit.
employees,
Okay.
town employees, and their
Exactly.
licensees. People who have business licenses through the city. Y'all know people who have business licenses through the city, do we not?
Yeah.
Those are called policies. Are they not?
Yeah.
That's why they have policy officers to serve those businesses. The district courts have jurisdiction over both criminal and civil cases. Criminal jurisdiction includes misdemeanors. What? So what they doing trying to charge you with felonies, Malika? The criminal jurisdiction
They're trying
only includes misdemeanors.
They're trying to their policy. That's why they're enforcing it, because enforce etymologically means to strengthen by some weak shit to you.
Run that by me again.
They have to enforce, is what he's saying, strengthen, because they're weak sauce. They give you examples, guys. They give you examples of the court's jurisdiction. And I didn't even, I just copy paste. I just copy paste this whole page because I was like, this is some funny shit right here. For example, driving. It don't even matter what else. While under the influence, blah, blah, blah. Reckless driving. So driving with drugs. What do you first have to be doing, guys?
Driving.
Acting it, you'd have to be operating some kind of a motor vehicle.
A commercial one.
What?
Commercial vehicle, correct.
No, I'm off my clock. Make it work.
Exactly. I'm off the clock. I might be in my bus driver's license. I might be in my sanitation worker license. I might be in my policy costume.
Hold on, bro. Hey, pull me. I got a kilo on the trunk, but I ain't on the clock though.
I ain't on the clock, bro. Exactly. Somebody's feeling me what I'm saying.
It's like the dude, just like John's conversation yesterday with the dude who had the weed and the get out of here. I'm just a man.
Right. You first have to be driving, my people. They literally define driving under this transportation code. You see why we always go back to it? We got to go back to the engaging in business under the transportation code because that's where they define it. They define the engaging in business under the transportation code. That's where that's where the controlled substances are. This is where the United States Department of Transportation, this is literally the transportation code. of the state. This is where they're look, transportation, applicable to interstate and foreign commerce. Y'all feel me? In order for it to be of like kind, an officer is stopping me, I must be an officer or a licensee, because that's what the officer is. They got a gun permit license and some other type of operating license, right? And then they can become peace officers. Did y'all know that? That they have to have licenses before they become peace officers? Did you guys know that? They are licensed. They're on the clock. You have to be operating on a license. You have to be on the clock. That's the only way it could be equal. The only exceptions are emergency or witnessing a crime. So we come back here. Who looked up corpus delecti? Did y'all put it in the chat?
I put all three of them in there. And other people
Mens rea.
did too.
Yes. A guilty mind. Thank you. Do they have proof of this on the record? Do they have proof of intent? Do they have proof of intent?
Yeah.
Do they have corpus delecti? Let me see who put corpus delecti in there. Am I boring the hell out of you guys?
Absolutely not.
No.
I don't travel either. I just go from point A to point B. Look under farm equipment or whatever they call it when you're going from
Equipment.
point A to point B. You just moving across the farm. That's what I'm doing. I'm just moving across the. Yes, corpus delecti, the body of a crime. The body, material substance upon which a crime has been committed. An example is the corpse of a murdered man, but it does not always have to be a body of a man. When we're talking about a crime, everybody knows what a crime is, right? Does everybody know what a crime is? Is a crime the same as an infraction?
Absolutely not.
No, they're two different things.
The other thing is that, going back to what we just spoke about with the Rule 11 of who signed, is the attorney a competent witness? Why or why not?
Well, he doesn't have firsthand knowledge of the.
That's one reason. Yes, correct. What's another reason that the attorney cannot be a competent witness?
He ain't got no first knowledge.
He doesn't have firsthand knowledge.
That's only the first reason. What's another reason?
He's not the injured party.
He's not the injured party.
He has to be.
Or a witness, right? To the alleged offense. So if he cannot be a witness to the offense, he's not the injured party. He has no firsthand knowledge, and he's the only one that signed anything. Can the material he or she signed as an attorney be considered
No Pagliaro.
admissible evidence?
What?
This is the end, my people. Their rules and statutes only apply to these classes of persons. The state must have an ownership interest in the subject property. The consent for it to be applicable to oneself has to come from oneself. And they don't have a record. The record doesn't reflect that consent by the affirmative has to be governed. The record doesn't reflect it. The record doesn't reflect corpus delecti. I hope y'all doing it along with me. So nobody can't tell me I'm charging nobody for paperwork, because this is your paperwork. You doing it.
Number 2 on the writing on the paper.
The record does not reflect corpus delecti. The record does not reflect mens rea.
Should reflect
Right.
number 2 from corpus delicti.
What about number 2? What about number 2?
So we're putting shit on the paper, sending it.
Oh, you putting poop on the paper?
Yeah.
Hazardous
Hey, yeah, maybe that's
material.
maybe that's what was the what they call it, hazmat that you were carrying in transportation.
All of that.
Guilt. You can't be guilty without knowledge and willfulness. Okay? The record does not reflect any admissible evidence because there was no competent witness, right?
I put Henry Campbell Black's Law Dictionary 4th edition definitions for all of them now.
There you go.
Well,
I personally don't know.
was the
What do you
last one
guys
something?
think else we need to say?
Certification is false. Okay, let me stop.
Y'all can do records requests so you know that the record doesn't reflect it. Ask them for the corpus delecti. Ask them for the mens rea, the evidence used to create the presumption of guilt, even though we're supposed to be considered innocent until proven guilty, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I see people who had their hand up, but their hand
Do
down
we
now.
want to say anything about the notice from the secretary?
You can talk about the notice from the secretary if you want. I am not going to introduce anything in this notice of wrong party. I'm not going to introduce anything except what I believe is the base minimum threshold. There's something written talking about some state code, whatever, and according to the state code, it says it applies to these persons, and I don't have anything on the record that shows I am such person. The record does not reflect it. And then, since it's obviously not under code, if you want to just hold me to common law crimes, you got to have that corpus delecti, mens rea, and competent witness. So I hope you guys are following the logic. Are you following the logic, or am I doing a terrible, terrible job?
Yep, I got you.
Come on.
I should go talk to 6 and 7-year-olds and
Right.
see if they get it, instead of the 60-year-olds and 70-year-olds that don't seem to get it. All right. Is everybody's hands up relevant to what we're talking about today? If your hand is up because of what we're talking about today, please keep your hand up. If your hand is up and it's not about something we just went over today or in any other part of this series, put your hand down till I stop the recording. All right. Thank you. Charisma. Go ahead with your question, comment, or emotional outburst if it's about what we went over today or any of the previous. You have to have a mic in order for it to allow you to unmute, but you can also type your question into the chat. All right. I'll let Charisma write her question into the chat. Right to Know Act. Yeah, you have to use the Right to Know Act. And that section that I left open here, where it says the people do not, right here, the people do not yield their authority to the agencies that serve them. That's actually the Right to Know Act section. Just so you guys know, this is the Right to Know Act section. That terminology is even there. Okay, who's next? All right, Woman, go ahead with your question, comment, emotional outburst if it's about what we just went over today.
So really quick, so I'm wondering if when you were talking earlier about that it's put on the record, but I was wondering because if an email is sent to specifically like saying private, it obviously doesn't look like any kind of a court document. What I'm wondering is, does one call anything was put on the record? I'm just
Call to see if
wondering.
it was put on the record.
Yeah, because when you guys are talking about when you're
When it's
sending through the
discovery material, as it says
right,
here, interrogatories, depositions, written questions, requests for productions of paperwork or inspections. It has to be for discovery. You have to be asking questions. It cannot be you prosecuting your case. You have to
okay,
be asking for specific material,
right,
records, paperwork. What is the record that supports my children were eligible to be wards? What is the record that supports the underlying obligation to produce or perform for the DHHS? Is there a record of one of the alleged defendants being a sick or injured seaman according to that history page of DHHS? Is there a record of how the children became? Because I was looking at your stuff not your stuff, but looking at the Nebraska stuff, and their child protection, whatever, is under the Indian Child Something Act. Same thing I pulled up in New York when I was looking up Tabby stuff, and it's like, are your children Indians? Indian? What record supports that? It's important to find the section if you're going to ask for the record to support that, so they know why you're asking. It says here that what you're enforcing is under this Indian Child Care some crap nonsense act. You have a record to support these children are eligible, and I found it because I was looking for the section that defines the children as having to be fosters or adopted, adoptive. That's what I was looking for. And I come up with this Indian
yeah,
Child Protection Act or some stupid crap that it doesn't apply to anybody.
Right. Okay.
So that's
That's
discovery
excellent.
material that should not be filed. And if they're filing them, or even if they're not filing them, but they filed anything, they signed anything without doing their investigation to see that you got the wrong party. Ain't no
Right.
ain't no wards here. The record does not reflect anyone as a ward. The record does not reflect I signed over any rights or interest to the state. The state must have an interest.
Yeah, that's excellent. Thank you. Okay, I'll re-listen to that too.
Yes.
And then I was wondering, and because I was wondering the two things that I sent in those on the record, even though I
Well,
titled
the
it
averment,
private.
yes, the averment is the affidavit or, verified statement on the record, basically saying the same thing as this. I'm the wrong party, right? I'm the wrong party. I just like to keep it very succinct, very specific, no emotion, no elaboration as much as I can. I mean, even this definition is basically too long, but I included the whole, whatever the hell crap said. I just copy pasted it. Right? But it's not you're talking to dodos, and it's important to keep it simple for them. And I hope they're listening, because I personally was an A student, so I know what it's like to struggle through my friends. I know they're struggling. I know they're struggling. I know even the attorneys are struggling, because anybody who has read even these notes here, even if you've just read my notes, you know more. You know more than any attorney that will ever try to come against you. You do know. You can beat them. You just have to hold them. You got to
Right.
hold the fort at the front. Neighbors say at the gate. At the gate. This is it. An emergency, witness to a crime, or they're producing a contract. And they always try to say they're a witness to the crime, but they didn't witness the crime. When do the police usually show up, guys?
After.
And then they make all types of accusations that they cannot back up. You did this, you did that, you were driving, you were joyriding, you stole. Do you have a competent witness that's gonna point to me? Do you guys see that? Competent witness. Very
Yeah.
important. The attorney cannot be a competent witness. They're either the agent or they're the witness. Same thing with the policy officer. The policy officer cannot be a competent witness. They cannot say you were speeding. I mean, they could say you were speeding, but that cannot be used as evidence. The testimony from the policy officer that you were speeding or that even you were driving is not admissible evidence, because who's saying it is not a competent witness. So if they're not a competent witness, the court has no admissible evidence upon which to render. I like render. You cannot distill from nothing. You have no competent witness of anything. You have no proof that the RCWs are universally applicable. So you don't have any proof that the codes are universally applicable. You don't have a contract to where I signed up to work for you guys as one of these persons. You don't have my consent to be governed. The people don't yield their authority to the agencies that serve them. The record doesn't reflect that you have subject matter jurisdiction over the property. The record doesn't reflect consent has been given to be governed. No corpus delecti, no mens rea, so you can't have a crime. No competent witness, so you can't make a lawful order. What else do you guys think this document needs? Did you guys actually answer? All right, Evelyn, thank you for your question and your patience. Keep punching them in the face.
To go to bed and try again.
Say again?
Sorry, my mute was not working. I'm muting. It's Charisma. Sorry.
Okay. Welcome
Malika, I
back.
was
Go
going to
ahead.
ask you. I think the bar agreement is working. My question is, with them putting up the false notice of the actual writ of possession on my door, but it's not to a notary. Going back to what you just was stating, they don't have the right to talk to me as far as requesting records request at the moment, do I, if I don't have a case number involved in one frivolous bullcrap. Am I right?
Okay, so you are who posted on the site recently that the case that they put on your door doesn't exist?
Yes, yes. Adverse possession. I'm running the adverse possession case.
Wow. Yeah. If the case doesn't exist, then I mean you can still
Listen, I went to the courthouse and had three of their agents to get in. They took the paper to the back to test it out. They asked for my felons. They tried to put my name in the system several different ways. They said this is not us, a clerk stamp. But I would just, like you said, just being proactive and being an adult. I was
right.
trying to. I'm 2 steps ahead of it. And you
Yes.
pre play.
That's excellent. Did you bar grievance them?
And I sent the evidence with it. I sent the evidence of the mail that she sent, and the actual mail fry template that he used. I used that. They can inside. I went back and did it again, and she gave me the bar number. And I emailed her yesterday and asked and told her that there's no contract, there's no proof to collect the debt, that a debt exists. Where's your delegation of authority? Produce a case number 72 hours, or this case stands as. Then I told her to govern herself accordingly. She hasn't wrote back
Yes.
yet. I'm on that next, but my only concern is I'm not worried about them in no capacity as far as standing my debt. In Georgia, they can't self-evict, but I was recently here 2 weeks ago because, again, I'm doing average. This house is listed as $325,000.
That's only if it was used for a
Don't
business
lie to me.
opportunity.
Exactly.
It only
My
has
issue
the
is I don't know how
value
to stop
of
their
it only has the value of being sound shelter when it's for a man or woman living, eating, enjoying. It's just worth the value
So I
of
don't.
sound shelter. It has no commercial value because it's not for
Okay,
the
let me ask you
use.
this.
Okay, go ahead.
Got all my
I got a whole lot of holes in it anymore. Listen, I did a newspaper ad too. I had a difference between putting stuff on the record and not. I don't want to do myself a disservice by adding unnecessary things. So I did do a newspaper ad to claim interest in the house, and I ran it for 5 weeks already.
Awesome.
To get the actual
Woo!
land grant under the property. So, I mean, they need to leave me alone at this point so I can go mind my business.
Yes.
That's what I
Yes.
want to go do.
Absolutely.
Am
A
I good? You
man,
think I'm good? I'm ahead of the game?
I think you're very good, my dear. What you just basically are
Let's
outlined.
go, Malika!
What you basically outlined is exactly what we go over in our mortgage free class. And I actually created this class originally for people who were doing exactly what you just said. You find a house or home and it is abandoned. You take claim to it. You take care of it. You notice your community that you are the steward of this property and you let them know any man or woman may come forward and challenge this lawful possession if they have an interest in the property. LLC, SPC, UCC1, and all of that stuff cannot trump private interest and use. It does not. It cannot. It is against public policy and the law. So here are our original I should say mortgage-free classes are here. This is where we talk about acquiring the home, putting the ad in the paper, all of that. Okay, we have some bonus videos down here. But in this same classroom, we also go over fend foreclosure for those who are already in their house through fraud called a real estate mortgage or real estate loan or whatever nonsense lie. Since your private homes don't qualify for that stuff, it's fraud in the inducement. So we talk about here in fend foreclosure how to put that process in the trash, really, and make it so they cannot come after you because it's going to be the city. It's going to be the county. It's going to be it's going to be the municipal corporation coming after us. It's not going to be a bank. And that's the difference we talk about and teach in that class. But you're doing excellent, Charisma. Congratulations.
Yep. In your class. Thank you so much.
I
Thank
can't
you.
believe
No,
they
thank
sent you a fake.
you too. And they said, we don't know what you're talking about, girl. Well, everything's working so far. So classes, I thank you so kindly because we live in real free over here.
The classes mean nothing if people don't take. The classes don't mean anything until somebody takes action on them. They can just become relics. So it's really yourself. I'm so excited for you. Aren't you guys excited for her?
I know that's right. The guy that was talking yesterday that we listened to that you let us talk about with the cars and getting people out of jail with the Eon Club. So I have 3 cars I just got with 0 money down, and I'm getting ready because I acquired 3 cars.
Wait a minute. Do you Let me show you all the videos she's talking about. First of all, it was in Friends in Law, was it not? I think we posted in Friends in Law. John's video we did yesterday. Oh, here it goes. It is in Friends in Law. But y'all talk so much, it got pushed down. No, it's in Friends in Law. Just search the hashtag John Roca. He talks about how he's disqualifying the courts through the attorneys and the judges. I show you his his collateral attack on behalf of a friend who was they weren't behaving when he tried to set his hearing for the motion to show authority for the attorney. That's when they told him, we just don't want to do it. We just don't want to do it. He got the clerk to say it, my people. And he put a judicial complaint on her. The very next day, she's like, set your hearing. Of course you did, bitch. Anyway, you guys got to check it out. This is what she's talking about. But go ahead and tell us about your 3 cars, darling.
Yeah, so I supposedly acquired my car in my business name on there, supposedly. But with me understanding how business credit is established, I really just called the dealership, told him I want this car, gave him the EIN number. So I got financed for a BMW 440i, and then I got another car, a Dodge Ram 2021.
Okay, so when you say you got the car, hold on. When you say you got the car, you mean you have it in your physical possession? You went to the dealership, picked it up, got the keys?
The cars. I drive the cars. And I have one of them in my garage right now. The other ones are. So what now I'm going to do is what the guy just did and discharge the car. So now with no money down because I shouldn't be using no money. And now I know how to discharge him from listening to him on the class. So I would have been in that class yesterday because that's been my biggest struggle with. I know that I don't qualify for a lot of this stuff, and I'm willing to run a lot of these processes, but sometimes I get stalled up by just listening to a lot of these gurus, and it delays my process. So now I went for the UCC 1 on my car, and they have left my car alone. They don't come look for my car. They don't ask for my car. They took it off the record. So now I'm going to go get my title to my 2022 Dodge Ram, and I didn't put nothing down for it, no monthly payments for it, no lease, nothing. Run the law. Just run the laws. I'm up a $250,000.
Run the laws.
Run the laws and run up the bag.
Run the law.
Thank you.
Yes. LAW.
Run them and run real fast.
The LAW. Okay, so what you just said, the guy that's called Dukes the Credit Beast, he has McReal sent me his video a couple weeks ago. And it's when I finished watching it, I got the same thing. He had to rely on the laws. He went in there in the dealership talking about credit. I got a 750 credit score, blah, blah, blah. They were like, we don't care. We just took your data and denied your ass. And the only reason he got the car is because he went back in with the law. The law. What everybody's trying to avoid because people think you could write a IRS, fill out some IRS form. Someone's asking what you did with the license.
I didn't even give him my social. I didn't give him my social at all. I still got the dealer tag on my car. I didn't even register my car to the state because I know doing that is going to get them there. So ride with the dealer tag on it, not insured.
It's
It
not
don't have a dealer.
insured.
It
They
has
let you off the lot, like
dealer
the
seat.
thing they did with our son.
I
They
did
let
not
us
use.
right off the lot, no insurance. Prisma,
I use my EIN.
would you be willing to come back on and have us do a Q&A so people can
Somebody else needs.
can you mute
Ashley?
I would love to.
all right, awesome. So Charisma, hit me
Well,
up
Mama
on
had something
Lawful
to tell
Living.
her
Let
to
me
call
know
Mama.
when you're available and we'll set it up
I didn't
so that people can ask and answer questions. All right, thank you. Okay, so you know, people got a lot of questions and we got a lot of answers to show you guys directly from the law. So, and we're at 3:00 right now, and I actually promised one of my friends in law that we were going to do a consultation right now. So I apologize. I'm going to have to cut it here.